Before anything else, my child, subscribe right now and watch this message till the very end without skipping, because what I, the eternal voice beyond time, am about to reveal is not a theory, not a rumor, not a guess. This is a divine disclosure sent from heaven this very morning of November 28th, a revelation delivered through Archangel Uriel straight into the hidden chambers of destiny. And woven into this message is a story the world is not ready to hear, a story that ties the rise of the awake to a hidden move made by Elon Musk, yes, the vessel whose decisions ripple through humanity like shockwaves, and yet no one knows what really happened, for it was sealed inside the spiritual realm until this moment, and you were chosen to hear it first. My child, listen carefully, for heaven shows me the moment this hidden deal began unfolding before dawn. While the physical world slept and the spiritual dimension churned with unusual activity, Uriel appeared in a realm between light and shadow, carrying a scroll glowing in gold and silver fire, a scroll that revealed a hidden truth Musk himself felt but could not name, and in this story I show you now, Musk stood inside a silent chamber surrounded by 7 screens flickering with fragments of future timelines, each screen showing a different outcome, a different path, a different future for humanity, and Uriel whispered an unseen impulse into his subconscious, guiding him toward the one timeline heaven favored, the one move that would awaken the chosen, confuse the asleep, and ignite a chain reaction no earthly analyst could predict. And as he made that move, signing a deal no one has heard of yet, a decision made not on paper but inside the silent center of destiny, the spiritual realm erupted like a volcano, sending tremors of awakening toward the souls aligned with intuition, courage, and clarity, and you were among them. For the moment that unseen decision was made, a golden pulse shot through the invisible grid, connecting human destiny, striking your spirit like lightning not to harm you but to activate you. My child, I saw you in that very second, even if you didn't feel it physically, your aura stirred, your intuition sharpened, your mind lit up with a subtle signal of, something is coming, and heaven reveals this truth. This hidden deal Musk made is not financial, not political, not technological. It is a spiritual alignment, a decision that opens a doorway only the awake can perceive, a doorway that leads to clarity, opportunities, ideas, and directions that will shift the trajectory of those who are listening right now. And Uriel shows me a scene from the story you must hear to understand your role. Inside the chamber of 7 screens, a shadowy presence tried to alter the chosen timeline, attempting to push Musk toward a path of confusion, chaos, and delay, but Uriel intervened, placing his burning torch between Musk's subconscious and the shadow, shielding him long enough for the divine impulse to lock into place, and the moment it did, the chamber shook, screens shattered into golden dust, and a new path opened, one that heaven calls the path of the awake. My child, the story becomes even more dangerous now, for Uriel reveals that this hidden deal sets off a sequence of events that will separate the world into 2 groups, the ones who sleep through their fate, and the ones who wake up and move with divine timing. And in the story unfolding now, you see Musk leaving that invisible chamber unaware of what has just been planted, while above him, Uriel unfurls the scroll revealing the real purpose of this alignment, to empower the souls whose intuition is rising, to accelerate the destiny of those who have been chosen, and to shift their lives out of stagnation into motion, out of fear into clarity, out of waiting into action. For heaven has grown tired of watching chosen souls shrink themselves while the asleep walk blind. My child, the story deepens as Uriel shows me your spirit walking through a corridor of mirrors representing different versions of your life, one version tired and unsure, one version waiting for permission, one version afraid to trust your instincts, and then a final version blazing with golden fire, bold, decisive, awake. And the moment Musk made that hidden move, that golden version of you stepped forward, replacing the others, merging into your destiny field, rewriting your upcoming days with strength, intuition, alignment, and opportunity. And heaven declares that only those who stay awake, listen deeply, and trust the signals they feel will benefit from what this day has activated. My child, in the end of this story, Uriel rolls up the scroll and places it into your aura, sealing today's awakening inside you, and tells me to warn you that the world will not understand the shift that occurred this morning. They will be distracted, confused, and blind. But you are among the few whose destiny was touched directly, and in the next continuation I deliver, I will reveal the signs that confirm this morning's revelation, the deeper layers of the hidden deal, and why you were chosen to hear this story before the rest of the world even senses the shift. And now, my child, as Uriel's torch dims after sealing the divine scroll into your aura and the early morning sky over the spiritual realm twists into spirals of molten gold, a second chamber reveals itself, one that even Elon, in this fictional prophecy, never saw, for this chamber was meant only for the awakened. And heaven pulls you into this hidden dimension like a chosen witness of a story no human eyes were ever meant to behold, and as you step inside, the air vibrates with unspoken truth. The ground hums beneath your feet, and the walls shift like living mirrors reflecting not your face, but the blueprint of your destiny, a blueprint that has been dimmed and dormant for years until today's divine ignition. My child, Uriel appears beside you again, wings blazing with the same fire that melted the 7 screens earlier, and he places his torch against the floor, sending waves of light racing outward, revealing the deeper layer of the story, the part where the hidden deal Musk triggered begins to interact with the spiritual architecture of the world, and heaven shows me the invisible consequences unfolding in the background, old blockages loosening, timelines realigning, hidden opportunities rewriting themselves, energy channels unclogging like rivers breaking through stone, and heaven whispers that none of this is visible in the physical world yet, but in this realm, everything is shaking, bending, shifting to prepare for what arrives next. My child, Uriel guides you further, and you see a suspended bridge made of transparent crystal stretching across a void filled with swirling patterns of blue and gold, and beneath the bridge flows the river of echoes, where the subconscious impulses of billions shimmer like drifting stars, and Uriel touches the bridge with the tip of his torch, causing ripples in the river below that reveal flashes of the story unfolding behind the scenes. Musk's intuition pulling him toward the divine-aligned decision before dawn, a presence of shadow trying to sway him toward a path of fear, Uriel stepping between them to shield the moment, and a vortex of light opening above his subconscious as the sealing of the hidden deal broke a chain wrapped around the destiny of the awakened. My child, you walk across the crystal bridge and the story deepens. Heaven shows me the ripple effect moving outward from this morning's spiritual event, spreading like rings of golden fire across the lives of those whose spirits are prepared. And the story now shifts to the chosen, souls like you, who suddenly feel their intuition sharpening without explanation, ideas forming in their minds as if whispered by unseen guides, a quiet pressure to step up, move forward, act boldly, trust instinct, and leave behind the versions of themselves that settled for less. And Uriel reveals that this awakening is not random, not coincidence, not luck. It is the direct consequence of the decision made in the hidden chamber, for the spiritual world cannot allow a divine-aligned choice to unfold without elevating those who are destined to receive the ripple. My child, Uriel brings you to the far end of the bridge, where a massive circular vault stands, sealed by rotating layers of gold and sapphire light, and heaven tells me this vault contains the echo imprint, a record of how your destiny changed this morning. But as you reach toward it, the vault responds not to your hand but to your aura, scanning the fire burning inside your spirit. And after a moment of silence, the vault unlocks with a thunderous shatter, beams of light exploding outward as if 1,000 suns were trapped inside, and you are pulled into the vault's interior where a gigantic sphere of living memory floats before you, showing images of your past, your present, and the new timeline branching from today's divine event. My child, the story becomes even more intense now. For inside that sphere you see scenes of your own life, moments where you hesitated, moments where you questioned your worth, moments where you walked through silence, heartbreak, doubt, and survival, and you witness how many times destiny tried to awaken you but the timing wasn't right, how many doors you nearly walked through but the world wasn't aligned yet, how many shifts were postponed to protect you from premature elevation, and then, finally, how everything snapped into alignment the moment the hidden deal activated this morning, how the timeline around you cracked open like a seed splitting under divine heat, and how the version of you standing here now, aware, awake, burning with purpose, is the version heaven intended all along. My child. Uriel steps beside you inside the vault and whispers a truth that shakes the chamber itself. The asleep will miss every sign. But for the awake, this morning changed everything, and in the next continuation I deliver, I will reveal the signs that will appear in your life next, the deeper hidden purpose behind this divine awakening, and the reason heaven chose you to be among the first to receive this story before the world even suspects what shifted today. And now, my child, as the vault of echo imprints continues to glow with radiant waves of golden memory and your spirit stands inside the swirling chamber of rewritten destinies, the very walls of this realm begin to vibrate with a sound that is neither music nor thunder but something older, deeper, born from the first breath of creation, and Archangel Uriel steps forward once more, his torch blazing with white gold fire that curls through the air like living serpents of light, and he declares that the story is not finished, for what unfolded this morning was only the ignition, the spark, the first pulse of a far greater shift that will now begin unraveling across the spiritual and earthly planes simultaneously. And as Uriel lifts his torch toward the sphere of living memory, the sphere splits open into 3 immense rings that rotate around you, each ring displaying a different layer of the story that is about to unfold. And the first ring shows the hidden cosmic mechanics triggered by Elon's subconscious alignment, the second reveals the awakening of the chosen souls, and the third displays the chain reaction that will test, shape, and expose the hearts of all who believe they can sleep through destiny. My child, as you watch, the first ring erupts into a vortex of swirling timelines. Uriel shows me Musk standing at the edge of a desert-like spiritual landscape, unaware that the divine impulse placed in his subconscious has already begun to twist the levers of the unseen world, and above him, billions of particles of golden light fall like rain, representing the souls who will be affected by the ripple, and I see shadows, forces of distraction, confusion, fear, attempting to recapture the timeline, but Uriel strikes the ground with his torch, releasing a shockwave of divine fire that pushes the shadows back, protecting the alignment long enough for the ripple to reach those who are ready. My child. The second ring rotates around you now, showing the souls who woke up the moment the hidden deal sealed itself into destiny's fabric, the chosen ones, the spiritually sensitive, the intuitive, the ones who feel the world shifting before others notice, and Uriel reveals that each awakened soul experiences this shift differently. For some, it arrives as sudden clarity, for others, as an inner whisper guiding them to act, for others, as a restless energy that pushes them away from stagnation, and for a rare few, like you, it manifests as a full-scale energetic activation, a tearing open of the old self to make room for the ascended version that divine timing has now unlocked, and the ring shows you standing in the center of a corridor of broken mirrors where the older versions of you vanish one by one, replaced by the luminous form that was always meant to emerge after this morning. My child, the third ring spins at breathtaking speed now, revealing the consequences that will unfold for the asleep, those who ignore signs, who numb their instincts, who bury their intuition, and you watch as their timelines remain static, unmoved, unchanged, trapped in cycles of repetition because the shift passed them without recognition, and Uriel whispers that heaven does not punish the asleep, but it cannot elevate those who refuse to feel, and this morning's alignment was not sent to all, only to the awake, the listening, the chosen, and you were among the first to respond, my child. The 3 rings collapse back into the sphere, and Uriel waves his torch over it, causing a portal to open in the center of the vault, a swirling gate of deep blue fire that pulls you into the next layer of the story, the chamber of inversion, where the fate of the awakened is tested, sharpened, and forged into mastery. And as you enter the chamber, you feel the temperature drop, the air thicken, and the ground beneath you shift like a living pulse, for this chamber shows the obstacles that will appear, not to break you, but to verify your readiness, to test your alignment, to strengthen your path. And Uriel appears beside you, whispering that the awakened are not lifted through ease but through clarity, and every moment you hesitate, the world you are meant to rise into waits, suspended, watching you, urging you forward. My child, the chamber of inversion reveals scenes from your near future, intuitive nudges that seem random, sudden moments where your mind lights up with ideas that feel too perfect to be coincidence, encounters with opportunities disguised as choices, crossroads where hesitation will cost you alignment but boldness will unlock doors instantly. And Uriel shows me how heaven has rearranged your path so that every step forward triggers a second ripple, and every ripple shapes the world around you, creating a chain of destiny where your speed of awakening controls the speed of your rise. My child, as Uriel holds the torch over your head, the chamber erupts into spirals of gold, red, and silver fire, revealing the next unlocked chapter, the chamber of revelation, where you will discover why you were chosen to receive this morning's divine message before the world even sensed a shift. And in the next continuation I deliver, I will reveal the deeper purpose behind this awakening, the unseen protection placed over you, and the real reason heaven aligned your spirit with this hidden morning event while billions slept unaware. And now, my child, as the chamber of inversion dissolves behind you like a veil burning into golden dust and the pathways of destiny reconfigure themselves around the force of your awakening, Archangel Uriel appears at your side once more, his torch now expanded into a colossal staff of white-hot radiance, its flames twisting upward like spiraling strands of divine DNA. And he declares that what lies ahead is the deepest and most dangerous part of the revelation, the chamber of revelation, the place where heaven stores the concealed truths reserved only for those whose spirits have crossed the threshold of awakening. And as Uriel touches the floor with the tip of his blazing staff, the world collapses beneath you like shattered glass, replacing itself with a colossal cathedral of starlight suspended in an endless void, its walls made of rotating galaxies woven together like threads in a cosmic tapestry, its pillars carved from the silent memories of forgotten universes. And in the center of this cathedral floats a single sphere of pulsating golden fire, the core revelation. And Uriel commands you to step forward, for this sphere contains the part of the story that no earthly mind was ever meant to hear but your awakened soul is now prepared to receive. My child, the moment you approach the sphere, it expands violently, engulfing you in a storm of spiraling visions that rip through your consciousness like a cosmic hurricane. And you see the hidden truth behind this morning's event unfold like a celestial map. You see Elon inside the unseen chamber again, but now the walls peel back to reveal something far larger behind him, a colossal machinery of fate, a divine engine made of rotating sigils, celestial gears, and rings of starlight, each one representing a different destiny flow on Earth. And Musk's subconscious decision was a lever inside this engine. A lever that had been jammed for years until Uriel whispered the divine impulse into him, and the moment he responded, even unknowingly, the engine roared to life, lighting up thousands of dormant lines of destiny that had been frozen in spiritual limbo, waiting for a chosen few to awaken the moment the lever moved. My child, the sphere of revelation shows the consequences as they unfold. I see streams of light racing across the earth, touching the crown of every awakened soul, igniting intuition like wildfire, sharpening instincts, pulling chosen spirits into alignment, while simultaneously bypassing those who remain asleep, allowing them to drift deeper into illusion. And Uriel whispers a profound truth into your spirit, that destiny is not democratic, that awakening is not distributed equally, that heaven elevates only the attentive, the listening, the ones who feel the shift instead of waiting for proof. and you were among the first whose soul responded to this morning's ignition. Which is why your consciousness was pulled into this cathedral of divine secrets, my child. The visions intensify. Suddenly you are pulled into a scene from years ago, a moment where you questioned yourself, doubted your path, wondered whether destiny had forgotten you, and the sphere shows how heaven watched you then, how Uriel placed silent protections around you, preventing wrong turns, blocking dangerous paths, delaying certain opportunities because the world was not ready to align with you yet. And then the sphere fast forwards to this morning, November 28th, the exact cosmic moment when the divine engine started spinning again, releasing the chains around your timeline, pushing your dormant purpose into ignition, and you watch as your spirit from earlier versions of your life flicker into view, each one tired, each one waiting for something unnamed. And then the awakened version of you, the version standing here, steps through them like a blazing sun swallowing stars, burning away everything that once held you back. My child, the cathedral shakes now, its walls resonating with a deep rumbling as if the universe is preparing to reveal the final layer, and Uriel touches the core revelation with his staff, causing it to split into 7 enormous fragments that orbit around you like planets circling a living star, each fragment containing a truth about why you were chosen, and as they spin faster, they reveal scenes from your future, moments where opportunities appear with impossible timing, moments where intuition guides you to the right decision at the exact second. Moments where the world tries to distract you but your awakened mind cuts through the noise with surgical clarity, moments where people who doubted you fall silent as your path unfolds with divine precision, and moments where heaven aligns situations so perfectly that even you stop and whisper, "How is this happening?" And Uriel whispers the answer, because today, the divine engine recognized your spirit. My child, the fragments explode into light, merging into a single river of molten gold that rushes through your chest, flooding your being with clarity, purpose, and an understanding that you are no longer walking into your destiny, you are being carried by it. And Uriel steps closer, placing his blazing hand upon your shoulder, telling you that in the next continuation I deliver, I will reveal the upcoming signs, the cosmic tests, the divine indicators, and the irreversible changes that will unfold around you as this hidden morning event begins manifesting into your physical world in ways that only the awakened will understand. And now, my child, as the 7 fragments of the core revelation dissolve into the river of molten gold that has just surged into your spirit and the celestial cathedral trembles under the expanding weight of your awakening, a deeper transformation begins unfolding around you, one so monumental that even the architecture of this sacred realm struggles to contain it. And Archangel Uriel steps back with a solemn reverence in his blazing eyes, as though he is witnessing something rare even in the infinite age of angels, and he declares that the revelation you have just absorbed was not the end of this morning's divine ignition but merely the initiation of the greater awakening, the true sequence, the unraveling of the deeper secrets that heaven has guarded across cycles of time. And as Uriel lifts his staff, the cathedral floor cracks open into spiraling rings of sapphire fire, revealing a descending passage that coils downward like a living serpent of light, pulling you into the chamber of manifestation, the place where the unseen become seen, where the spiritual events of this morning begin weaving themselves into physical outcomes in the world of men. And the moment you enter, the entire chamber erupts into a cyclone of visions showing how the ripple triggered by Elon's hidden alignment now begins to stretch from the divine engine into human timelines, forming invisible threads that attach themselves to the crowns of the awakened. My child, I see these threads glowing like fibers of divine electricity, connecting to individuals across the earth who felt something shift today, those who suddenly felt lighter, more focused, more intuitive, more restless, more aware, and Uriel reveals that each thread acts like a spiritual conductor, channeling insight, momentum, and opportunity. And now, my child, as the gate of convergence roars open with a blast of celestial wind so powerful it shakes the entire chamber of manifestation into spiraling waves of molten brilliance, you step through the threshold with Uriel at your side, and instantly the atmosphere shifts from golden warmth to a deep, vibrating indigo, an energy field that trembles like a living giant awakening from millennium-long sleep. And before you forms the corridor of unfolding, a colossal walkway carved from liquid starlight, its walls shimmering with visions of events that have not yet happened but are already bending themselves toward your awakened frequency, and the moment your foot touches this corridor, reality fractures outward like ripples on a vast cosmic ocean, revealing the next, deeper layer of this morning's hidden ignition. The realm where heaven begins transcribing the spiritual shift into the blueprint of your physical timeline, and Uriel raises his blazing staff, causing the corridor to elongate into infinity, each step revealing another secret behind why this morning, November 28th, became a spiritual earthquake invisible to sleeping minds but unmistakable to you, the awakened vessel chosen to walk this path. My child, watch closely as the corridor walls ignite into scenes of the world reacting, subtle, silent, secret movements inside the fabric of reality. Moments where your intuition will spike for no reason, moments where you will feel a pull toward choices you had been delaying, moments where certain people grow distant and others appear suddenly, moments where the energy around you sharpens like a blade guiding you toward alignment, and Uriel whispers that these are not coincidences but the early signs of convergence, the physical manifestations of a divine engine spinning at full power for the first time in years. My child. The corridor shakes as a second layer unfolds from underneath it like a hidden floor rising into existence, and you are pulled into a massive circular chamber called the Observatory of Consequence, where time is not linear but spirals around you in glowing arcs, each arc showing how a single spiritual ignition can alter the trajectory of millions, and in the center of this chamber floats a pulsating orb made of translucent fire, the echo catalyst, the very essence of the wave triggered earlier by Elon's hidden alignment. And Uriel touches it with his staff, causing it to expand until it engulfs the entire chamber in a hurricane of visions. I see timelines collapsing and rebuilding themselves. I see your aura expanding across dimensions like a beacon of awakened truth. I see hidden opportunities rising from places you had once ignored. I see divine connections weaving themselves through your path. I see delays breaking, blockages dissolving, and stagnant energies shattering under the weight of heaven's momentum. And Uriel reveals that this is what happens when a chosen soul responds to a divine ignition. You become a magnet for alignment, a gravitational center that bends fate toward you rather than waiting for chance. My child, the hurricane settles, revealing the next stage, the chamber of threads, where billions of glowing lines stretch into the horizon, each representing a possibility, a direction, a potential outcome. And Uriel guides your hand into the sea of threads. The moment your fingers touch them, thousands of lines disconnect instantly and vanish into darkness, leaving only a luminous network of threads that match your awakened vibration. And Uriel explains that this morning's event erased the paths not meant for you, removing distractions, confusion, and detours, leaving only the aligned routes that heaven intends for your rise. My child. A roar echoes across the chamber as the threads fuse together into a single colossal beam of gold, the path of convergence, your new destiny line, strengthened by the spiritual ignition and now stretching forward with unstoppable force. And Uriel commands you to step into it, and when you do, the entire chamber collapses into a funnel of cascading stars, pulling you upward into the next realm, the chamber of unmasking, where illusions about your past dissolve, revealing truths you were never meant to carry, pains that were never yours, limitations that were placed upon you by fear, not destiny. And as each illusion dissolves like smoke, your aura expands, brighter, sharper, stronger, until Uriel bows slightly, recognizing your transformation as the golden fire in your chest erupts into wings of pure radiance, marking the moment the divine ignition completes its merge with your physical identity. My child, the chamber of unmasking explodes into brilliant light, signaling the opening of the chamber of embodiment, the realm where heaven begins shaping the external world around your new state of being. and in the next continuation I deliver, Uriel will reveal the exact signs that will appear in your physical world, the tests that confirm the ignition is real, and the deeper reason why heaven chose you, not the billions asleep, to carry the awakening that began this morning in the unseen world. And now, my child, as the chamber of embodiment unfurls around you like a colossal lotus made of cosmic fire and the remaining fragments of your old timeline fall away like dust evaporating in sunlight, Archangel Uriel raises his blazing staff once more and the flames erupt into a spiraling column of spiraling white gold radiance that pierces the very roof of the divine realm, tearing open a vortex that connects the deepest spiritual plane to the waking world, and he declares with a thunder that shakes galaxies that now begins the most dangerous and powerful phase of this morning's ignition, the moment where everything that awakened inside you must begin manifesting externally, where heaven rearranges the fabric of your daily life to match the new frequency of your ascended spirit, and the chamber of embodiment lights up with billions of floating sigils, each sigil representing a possible shift, a possible sign, a possible moment of divine timing ready to enter your path. And as your aura expands, the sigils nearest you ignite and fuse into your destiny field with violent flashes of golden electricity, revealing scenes of the physical world bending itself toward your alignment, conversations you were never supposed to overhear but suddenly will, decisions you delayed now resurfacing with unstoppable urgency, opportunities arriving disguised as randomness, old connections dissolving without warning, new ones appearing with impossible synchronicity, and Uriel reveals that this is what it means for a soul to embody an awakening. The world outside you must now reorganize itself to keep pace with the world inside you, my child. The walls of the chamber shift into rivers of moving light, showing how this morning's hidden deal has already begun twisting unseen threads in the background of your reality. I see timelines that once resisted your progress now snapping into alignment like magnets pulled together. I see closed doors trembling as their locks break under the pressure of your rising frequency. I see people who were never meant for your future drifting quietly out of your orbit, and people aligned with your ascended path being drawn toward you by forces they cannot name but will feel in sudden intuition, curiosity, or urgency. And Uriel whispers that this is the first sign of an awakened destiny. The world around you starts moving even before you do, my child. Suddenly the chamber of embodiment darkens, and a new environment forms around you. An enormous hall made of black crystal, its floor reflecting every version of you that has ever existed, from the silent child who doubted themselves to the powerful soul standing here now, and the reflections look up at you, one by one, before dissolving into smoke, symbolizing the irreversible shedding of your old identity. And as the last reflection fades, the hall cracks open to reveal a massive floating platform carved from red-violet starlight, the forge of integration, the place where your inner transformation is welded into the timeline of your physical life. And Uriel guides you onto the platform, placing his hand upon your chest, causing the golden river of awakening inside you to pulse outward into the chamber, forming pillars of light that connect your ascended energy to future events waiting to enter your life. My child, the pillars ignite into flames of prophecy, and visions pour out in an unbroken stream, moments where you will feel a sudden pull toward an idea that becomes pivotal to your rise, moments where random encounters spark new directions, moments where obstacles appear only to test your clarity and dissolve the instant you choose decisiveness, moments where something inside you whispers, "This is it," seconds before a breakthrough arrives, and Uriel reveals that these signs will come faster now, like rapid-fire signals from heaven itself, and only the awake will notice them, my child. The forge shakes violently as the integration completes, and now the chamber transforms once again, this time expanding into a colossal celestial amphitheater lined with thousands of luminous entities watching silently, each representing a future version of yourself waiting to be activated. And Uriel stands at the center, his wings spread so wide they eclipse the horizon, and he declares that the next stage of this revelation will show you the tests that come after awakening. the subtle spiritual challenges that verify your readiness to step into the aligned timeline heaven has prepared for you, the challenges that reveal who is truly awake and who simply believes they are, the moments where old patterns attempt to return but dissolve instantly when met with your new frequency, and Uriel commands that in the next continuation I deliver, I will reveal the exact tests, the signs, the energetic shifts, the emotional triggers, the intuitive nudges, and the divine confirmations that will manifest in your real life in the days following this morning's ignition, and why heaven chose you to carry an awakening that billions would have ignored even if it landed in their hands. And now, my child, as the celestial amphitheater hums with silent electricity and the luminous entities of your future selves vibrate with anticipation, the air grows impossibly dense, as though the entire universe has leaned inward to witness the next phase of your ascension, and Archangel Uriel, with wings unfurled like two burning horizons, steps into the center of the amphitheater and raises his staff of white gold fire so high that its light pierces the very roof of existence, ripping through layers of spiritual reality like a comet tearing through darkened skies, and he declares that the awakening you received this morning is now entering its most volatile stage, the stage where destiny tests the strength of your transformation, not to break you, but to ensure that you are ready to embody the alignment that heaven has woven into your path, and the amphitheater shifts violently, the ground beneath you trembling as reality bends, and suddenly the thousands of future selves surrounding you begin merging into spiraling rivers of shimmering light that wrap around your body like living serpents, whispering visions of the life you are stepping into, and Uriel touches the ground with his staff, causing the entire arena to collapse into a swirling tunnel of liquid starlight, dragging you downward into the chamber of tests, a realm carved from molten cosmic stone where the awakened are separated from the merely curious, and as you land, the chamber erupts into a storm of illusions representing every weakness you ever carried, moments of hesitation, memories of failure, shadows of doubt, voices of fear, whispers telling you to settle, to shrink, to remain who you were. These illusions swarm around you like spectral forms attempting to reclaim what you have outgrown, but as they reach for you, your aura releases a pulse of golden fire awakening so powerful it shatters the illusions like glass. And Uriel nods with solemn approval, for this is the first test, the test of identity, confirming that your old self no longer holds authority over your steps, my child. As the shattered illusions evaporate, the chamber reshapes itself into a colossal valley filled with dark winds made of forgotten energies, and Uriel leads you forward into the second test, the test of distraction, where echoes of the old world call your name, trying to pull your attention back into old cycles, old patterns, old emotions, and you watch as phantom opportunities, false shortcuts, and empty temptations swirl before you, each one designed to slow the rise of an awakened soul, and Uriel commands you to walk forward without looking back, and when you do, a beam of radiant light bursts from beneath your feet, splitting the valley into two and sealing the test behind you forever. My child, the valley collapses into luminous dust, and the chamber reconstructs itself into the Hall of Mirrors, a terrifying labyrinth where reflections of alternate versions of your life blink into existence, one where you settled for less, one where you doubted yourself into stagnation, one where you followed fear instead of intuition, and one where you never awakened at all, and the reflections pound their fists against the glass trying to lure you into their timelines, but your spirit, ignited by this morning's event, sends a shockwave through the hall, cracking every mirror and absorbing their energy into your ascended self, marking the completion of the test of vision, my child. The chamber shifts again, and now you stand at the foot of a towering staircase carved from shifting constellations, the stairs of convergence, each step representing a choice, a moment, a sign you will soon experience in the physical world, and Uriel warns that these steps must be ascended not with fear but with certainty, for each step you climb strengthens your awakened timeline, and each hesitation weakens the pull of destiny, and as you ascend, the stars beneath your feet ignite into trails of fire, showing scenes of the signs that will soon appear, sudden bursts of clarity, unexplained energy surges, repeating numbers, perfectly timed coincidences, unexpected encounters, prophetic dreams, moments where your intuition speaks louder than logic, and Uriel speaks a truth that makes the cosmos tremble. These signs are not random, they are messages from the divine engine set into motion this morning. My child, as you reach the top of the stairs of convergence, the chamber explodes into a cyclone of swirling galaxies and golden tendrils of fate, and you find yourself transported onto a floating platform of blinding white light, the throne precipice, where the final test awaits, the test of acceptance, the test where heaven asks whether you are ready not to witness your destiny but to claim it, to embody it, to become the sovereign of your own timeline. And Uriel places his hand over your heart, igniting the golden river within you into a sun-like explosion that illuminates the entire realm, revealing the truth that heaven has been circling around since the beginning of this story, that you were chosen not because of your past, but because of your potential, because of the fire you carry, because of the spirit that refuses to dim, because you were the one who would listen, the one who would awaken, the one who would notice the shift while billions slept through it. And Uriel declares that the next continuation will reveal the exact signs you will witness in the physical world, the triggers that will confirm the ignition, and the final reason why heaven placed this message in your path before anyone else. And now, my child, as the throne precipice vibrates under the colossal weight of your awakening and the cosmic winds swirl into a spiraling storm of molten eternity around your ascended presence, Archangel Uriel rises before you with wings blazing so intensely that the very fabric of the divine realm bends backward, trembling as though creation itself is bowing to the magnitude of this moment. And he declares that the tests you have crossed were not mere examinations but calibrations. Aligning your spirit with the divine engine awakened this morning, and now begins the most secret phase of this celestial revelation, the unfolding of the signs of embodiment, the indicators heaven will send into the physical world to signal that the awakening inside you has begun weaving itself into reality. And the moment Uriel speaks, the sky above the precipice splits open into a swirling vortex of gold and violet flame, revealing an ocean of floating symbols that orbit like planets around your soul, each symbol containing a sign that will manifest in your waking life. And as you stand amidst this cosmic hurricane, the symbols ignite and fire themselves into the darkness like meteors, illuminating the infinite expanse around you with streaks of divine prophecy. And Uriel commands you to look into the heart of the storm, where the signs begin unveiling themselves in a sequence so powerful it makes the realm tremble. I see a burst of golden light forming into a vision where you sense a sudden shift in your intuition, a moment where something inside you whispers, "Move now," and you will feel it with such clarity that it will cut through doubt like a blade. Then I see the second sign, an encounter that seems accidental, a message, a call, a person, a moment of timing so perfect that it will feel scripted by heaven itself. And Uriel reveals that this moment is not chance but the divine engine placing you before the opportunity that your awakening unlocked. My child, the vortex expands, showing the third sign, your old emotional patterns rising for a final confrontation, not to pull you backward but to collapse permanently. And when this happens, something inside you will snap into alignment like a key turning inside an ancient lock, releasing energy that had been trapped inside your spirit for years. Then comes the fourth sign, a flicker in your reality, a repeat of numbers, a dream that feels too vivid to ignore, a moment where the world seems to pause, where time feels thin, where even silence feels alive. And this is heaven signaling that you are walking directly into the path your awakening prepared. Then the fifth sign, an internal shift where something you once tolerated becomes impossible to accept, and this discomfort is not a setback but a divine push forcing you into a higher timeline. And as these signs swirl around you like flaming constellations, the vortex intensifies, widening into a cosmic funnel as Uriel steps into its center and strikes the ground with his staff, causing a shockwave that sends the symbols exploding outward into the infinite void, ready to drop into your waking world as physical manifestations. My child, the precipice cracks and reforms into a massive floating platform of crystalline gold known as the dais of divine confirmation, and Uriel lifts you onto it, telling you that once the signs begin appearing, the world will no longer feel the same. You will notice conversations carrying hidden meaning, decisions happening with uncanny precision, paths clearing with supernatural timing, and moments arriving that feel like echoes of this divine realm vibrating through your physical life. And Uriel whispers a truth that sends tremors across the throne precipice. This morning, heaven did not simply awaken you, it chose you, and suddenly the realm collapses into spiraling ribbons of light, pulling you into the sanctum of realization, a spherical chamber where the boundaries between the spiritual and physical dissolve. And there Uriel reveals the deepest reason behind your selection, because out of billions, you were one of the rare souls capable of feeling the shift the moment the divine engine restarted, one of the rare ones who listens to intuition instead of noise, who recognizes timing instead of coincidence, who senses destiny instead of distraction. And the chamber erupts into spiraling beams of molten gold as Uriel touches your forehead with the tip of his blazing staff, imprinting the final seal of awakening into your aura, a seal that will alter your perception, accelerate your alignment, and guide your decisions with supernatural clarity. My child, the sanctum shakes, the walls tearing open to reveal the cosmic horizon stretching endlessly around you, and Uriel walks to its edge, raising his staff toward the realm of earth, telling you that in the next continuation I deliver, I will reveal how these signs interact with your real world, how heaven accelerates the path for the awakened, and why those who sleep through this moment will never understand the shift that you are now destined to embody. And now, my child, as the sanctum of realization shatters into spiraling ribbons of molten radiance and the cosmic horizon yawns open like the mouth of eternity itself, you feel the entire divine realm shift beneath your feet, as though the universe is preparing to thrust you into the next stage of your awakening. And Archangel Uriel, glowing like a living supernova, steps forward with wings erupting into storms of white gold fire, declaring that the moment before you marks the beginning of the most profound convergence your soul has ever approached, the merging of what you now understand spiritually with the physical world that awaits your arrival, and the sanctum reshapes into an enormous floating disk suspended above a roaring ocean of cosmic lightning, every bolt representing a future moment that will crack open with precision once the signs begin manifesting. And Uriel raises his blazing staff, causing the lightning below to rise upward like serpents of pure energy, forming a colossal spiraling vortex around you, each coil filled with scenes from your coming days that heaven has already reshaped in response to this morning's ignition. And as the vortex rotates, you see flashes of your near future, brief, blazing glimpses where clarity cuts through confusion like a divine blade, where conversations open doors you never saw coming, where intuition becomes louder than logic, where decisions appear from thin air and feel too perfect to ignore. And Uriel explains that these visions are not possibilities, they are inevitabilities for the awakened, for once the divine engine marks a soul, reality bends around that soul's steps. My child, the vortex expands, pulling you into the convergence bridge, an infinite pathway stretching between the spiritual and physical realms, woven from threads of living starlight that pulse with each heartbeat you take. And as you walk across it, the bridge responds, rearranging its patterns according to your rising frequency. And Uriel reveals that this bridge is the spiritual architecture that controls how quickly signs and manifestations appear in your life, and every step you take activates a new layer. With one step, the air around you distorts, showing the first sign, an event in your waking life where something aligns with such uncanny timing that it shocks you. With the next step, the bridge flashes a second sign. Amen.